Wintertime in Arkansas. Cold temperatures with rain, sleet, or maybe even some snow. You know, the last 3 winters, Arkansas's weather has been under the influence of La Niña, which typically leads to milder and drier conditions. However, this winter, El Niño makes a return. And I'm sure you've heard us talk about El Niño in the past, but you may have forgotten what El Niño is. Well, El Niño occurs in the Pacific Ocean, where water temperatures are warmer than average. And these warmer temperatures can energize the southern track of the jet stream. Therefore, portions of the Gulf Coast and the southeastern U.S. typically experience wetter than normal conditions during an El Niño winter. Now, this winter, we're expecting a moderate to strong El Niño. How might this climate phenomenon influence our chance of snow in Arkansas, impacts on drought, or your winter utility bills? Our team of meteorologists is using their expertise to help prepare you for this coming winter. Now, up first, here with the probability of snow during an El Niño winter is meteorologist Nathan Scott.
El Niños and La Niñas are not the same and have different ranks according to their strength. They can be weak, moderate, strong, and very strong. In the past 3 years, the weather pattern was in moderate La Niña phase. However, the snowfall totals at Little Rock were very different. One season, Little Rock saw more than 20 inches, the next 6, and last year only saw 0.1. Like Tom mentioned, this year El Niño returns, and we forecast it to be a moderate to strong one. This means more moisture will be pumped in from the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, expect a lot of clouds and rain this winter. But will the cold air be in place for winter precipitation? Looking at the record books, since 1950, there have been 10 El Niños that are considered moderate or strong. The coldest air typically shows up during December and January with dips in the polar jet stream. For snow lovers, the odds favor above average snowfall, which is just under 4 inches in Little Rock. But remember, it only takes one winter weather event to easily surpass the average, and snow totals vary county by county. El Niño means ice storms and freezing rain events also have increased odds because warm air from the Pacific will ride over the shallow layer of cold air at the surface. So get those ice scrapers ready and be prepared for ups and downs in the temperature department. This is Arkansas after all.
Nathan, thank you. You know, much of Arkansas experienced very dry conditions over the latter part of 2023, and some areas of the state continue below average when it comes to rain. Here with more on how El Niño may impact precipitation chances this winter is meteorologist Simone Thomas.
If we look back over each El Niño winter since 1950, strong El Niños, like what we're expecting this year, are most commonly associated with above average precipitation in Arkansas. That's good news when it comes to our drought. Our state could certainly use more moisture. Just think back to September, where we saw the 10th driest on record with just under a ½ inch of rain for the entire month. With this in mind, we could see improvements to our drought conditions, but that means potential winter or severe weather scenarios that we will all need to watch out for.
All right, Simone, thank you. You know, the winter of 2022-2023 featured what many would consider to be outrageous winter heating bills. So what about this winter? Meteorologist Scott Covert has details on the impact of El Niño on your wallet.
Well, it all comes down to supply and demand. With cooler than average temperatures expected here in Arkansas this winter, there's definitely going to be demand, but don't fret, I've actually got some good news. The U.S. Energy and Information Office, which is a federal agency, well, they predict that those of us here in the South will actually spend 15% less than last year on natural gas. Now, when it comes to those of you heating your homes with electricity, you can expect to pay around the same, or technically 2% more than last year. Now, driving the majority of the savings is a better natural gas supply compared to that of last year, but El Niño actually plays a role in all this too. While we expect cooler temperatures here in the South, other parts of the country are forecasted to see above average temperatures, which will decrease the overall demand in the United States, resulting in cheaper fuel prices for all of us.
Well, it's good to know that our utility bills will come down a notch this year compared to last year. Thank you very much, Scott. Thanks, Nathan. Simone. Tracy, good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to join the team.
Yeah, y'all ready to talk snow this year?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
a fun topic.
First of all, we have to congratulate last year's winner who got it right. Tracy, congratulations.
I don't work as much as they do, so I have more time to study.
Sure.
Forecast.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you were around, what, 4 inches or so of snow? Nathan, how much did we get last year in the bucket? The little sno pile there, that huge?
We did not get much at all.
I didn't say it was a good forecast.
Well,
I just won.
I'll tell you, a tenth of an inch of snow. If it were the Price is Right, we would all be over, we would all lose. But,
Yes.
Well, which really
closest.
makes us all winners. Those of us that don't really love snow.
I
It's
think-
all about perspective.
Right, 2 years prior, after 20 plus inches, we needed a break.
We
Yes.
did, and we
We
got
need
it.
a break.
Yeah. Now we shift into El Nino. Thoughts on El Nino this year?
Yeah.
More clouds, possibly a wetter forecast. But what about that snow?
What about it? Well,
Okay.
I think you're going to have the moisture and the cold come together at the right time, and we've seen
Right.
year after year, even in El Ninos, that you have one, but you don't always have both at the same time.
And this is definitely a moderate. It is not heavy. Those oceans are not cool enough. So
Okay.
we're not looking for things to be just a slam dunk.
Well, it never really is
No.
it?
I looked at the records. We've had 10 moderate to strong El Ninos, and pretty much the snowfall ranges from 0 to 1 year, 16 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all El Ninos are not created
So are
equal.
you going 16 inches?
That's a bold prediction.
All right.
I am not.
Well, let's ladies first. Last year's winner gets to go first. Tracy, what do you
All
think
right.
this year?
I am going to go with 7 inches.
Wow. That's a high number.
That's a high number. Simone, our newcomer this year.
You know what? I think she read my mind. I'm going to go with 7 3/4, so 7.75 inches.
All right, Scott,
4. I'm going to go 4.
going 4.
Average is a little more than 3. We'll have more moisture this year, so slightly more
4.
than 4.
All right, Nathan.
It only takes one.
Yeah,
So I'm going to go, let's go 5.5.
5.5.
Because I think we're going to have a little bit more than above average this time of year.
All right. I think you've all overbid. I'm going $1.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to go average,
Okay.
which is right at 4 inches, a little under 4, 3.8 inches.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm going to undercut.
All right.
You're undercutting
Scott.
me.
Scott.
Okay,
Okay,
got
I
it.
tell you what.
Okay.
I'll give you some 3. I'll go 3 inches.
Okay, give me a little
There we
breathing
go.
room, huh?
We have a wide range there.
Wide
We do
range.
have
We'll see how everything
Yeah.
works out. And
I think
thank
we
you
need to
all.
know what the persimmon seeds say and all the other folklore to see what the prediction is.
I've seen spoons. I guess that means snow.
You know, and one thing we've not talked about yet, we've talked about plenty of snow, but the fact is we also get our fair share of sleet and
Yeah.
freezing
Yes.
rain, and that's just as much of a possibility going into this winter than last.
Yes,
And
I
that
think
will
this will
certainly
definitely
cut down snow
be
totals.
a wetter winter for
Yeah.
sure, and it'll just be where that temperature is, and that's where everything will decide who the winner is.
Yeah, and the technicality here is sleet counts as snow in the grand total, so that could help or hurt some of us.
Okay. We'll see how things work out. Thank you. We'll see how winter in Arkansas all turns out this year.